Hey guys, I have no idea what happened, but while editing, it seems the beginning of this video got cut out. So I will say, hey, I'm back with Pillars of Eternity, right now here as it is, and we are getting back into it. The only things that you missed were about a minute and a half of backstory and reading people's souls. So that's the only thing that tells us is what their past lives have done. So it's nothing even important to the story as far as I know. But here we go, and this is how it is. And then pulls his arm behind his back to catch it. The crowd claps excitedly, and a couple of them gasp, certain they were about to see tragedy. Cool, I guess. Same thing. You see a room, bright, warm, and covered in greenery. There isn't a spot in the entire space that doesn't have some kind of plant growing in it. Small germinating seeds in a corner here, large sprawling vines climbing the walls there. Although most of the plants are actually in some kind of container, there are a few that have grown from the dirt floor itself. These are just as lovingly cared for as anything else in the room. The man wanders through the plants, smiling at each and every one, an old pipe clenched between his teeth. Stopping next to one, he touches a leaf, lifting it up and to look at the underside, then gently rubs it between his fingers. Drink. He takes a small handful of the soil it grows in and crushes it with his fingers. Satisfied, he drops the soil back into the pot and continues to the next plant. He hums a low, cheery tune as he moves among the plants, occasionally stopping to sing a few words of something to one of them. Finally, he reaches the door. Having visited every plant in the room, he turns back to look at them, a look of serene pleasure on his face. Then he turns back and is gone. Cool, he likes plants. Despite the rains, the stalks feel dry and stiff as locust husks. Okay. Okay, nothing new. Let's talk to you quick. I heard that they fended up. Okay, another attack. Okay, Eastern Wood. Villager. Cow. Okay, cows and cows. I'll take this. I'll raise this a little bit. Where am I? What am I doing? Okay. That's kind of a gnarled tree as well. So far, I'm loving the atmosphere of this place. It's very high fantasy, which is one thing that I love, among many things. Oh hey, cool, there's a way to go back here. I did not know that. Oh, more named NPCs. Voice from the past. You see a pair of immaculately polished leather boots and an impeccably maintained goatee, their owner slightly hook-nosed man with a wicked grin and narrow eyes. He bobs his feathered hat at a nearby merchant as he ambles by, a small piece of parchment held tight in his fist, ink staining his fair fingers. He seems to know most of the merchants in the market, stopping to engage some, nodding at others, and even bartering for minor goods with a select few, almost always smiling, laughing, and exchanging jibes. He approaches a heavyset Aumaua, lovely word, smile plastered stiff across his face, and jokes about the weather. She jokes back, subtly palming him several gold coins. When he walks away, the paper in his hand is gone, and the smile on his face far more genuine. He tips his cap at her, winking, and trundles off with a new spring in his step. Okay. Nefarious deeds. I bet she's an evil enchantress who does evil dances. Voices from the past. Nope. I wanted to do that. Okay. You see a large crowd gathered in the middle of a courtyard. This man stands in the midst of them, a cloak pulled over his head, holding it closed around his neck. The crowd has congregated around a platform, and they all watch, transfixed, as a man is led to the platform, flanked by two city guardsmen. Sounds like a hanging. The man is shackled hand and foot, but carries himself as a nobleman, not deigning to even glance at the crowd. The cloaked man pulls his cover closer around his face and turns to leave, hunching over to avoid being seen. A crier on the platform unrolls a parchment and begins to read, but the man pays no attention, intent on getting away from the courtyard. The crier's voice grows louder and more intense as he reads, and voice from the crowd start to punctuate his sentences. Interesting. The jeers and shouts grow more frequent, and with each one, the cloaked man flinches and his shoulders droop. He breaks from the crowd, coming to the edge of the courtyard as the crier reaches the end of the proclamation. The crowd grows silent again, save for the occasional shout. The man turns back to look at the platform, seeing his father kneeling before the block, neck exposed. Ah, it's his father getting executed. The executioner moves into position, lifting his axe to strike. The man turns suddenly, unable to watch. There is a wet thunk, and the crowd breaks into cheers and applause. He leans against the wall, regaining his composure, then straightens up. With obvious resolve, he strides off, away from the crowd and his legacy. That's pretty sad. But people don't usually decapitate people for no reason, so I'm assuming there's some kind of reason behind it. I'll take some gold rot chew, whatever that is. Okay, nothing new. Despite the rain, the stocks feel like dry and stiff. Yep. Okay. Some ale and beer. I've already been up there. Cell sword. Okay. That's where I met Aloth. So let's go up here. Oh, more unnamed NPCs. Sure. You see a lone man standing in a field. He looks around, surveying the crops. Occasionally he bends to examine a leaf up close. He is intent on what he is doing, completely absorbed in his work. This man this man approaches him from behind. He moves slowly, but does nothing to mask his approach. In his hands he feels a large sword, or he holds a large sword. There appears to be no malice or hatred in the man's demeanor. He seems almost pleased. The first man hears his approach and stands, turning away from the plant he was expecting. His face breaks into a smile, and he turns his arms to welcome the approaching man. The smile freezes into a grimace as the second man thrusts the sword through his stomach, its blade now protruding from his back. His arms slowly fall to the side, and blood starts to drip from the sword onto the plants below the men. As the first man crumbles to his knees, the second man pulls his sword out, a tear slowly falling from down the cheek of his still smiling face. Well, that's an interesting one. You see a small group of people gathering around the ruins of a house. The destruction continues out from a single dwelling through the entire village. Not a single building still stands. Rubble is scattered everywhere. One of the men in the group leans over something in the debris. It is this man, younger, barely more than a boy. The man reaches out and shakes the boy by the shoulder. The boy makes no sound and doesn't respond to the man's disturbance. The man looks up at the other members of the group and shrugs, standing to rejoin his friends. The boy suddenly sits up, eyes wide. He scrambles backwards, away from the group, looking around in horror. The man moves toward him, and the group moves towards him in unison, eliciting a yell from the boy, who tries to move further away. A woman in the group puts out her hands, stopping the rest. She turns to them reproachfully, motions for them to stay, then looks at the boy on the ground, who is trying to push himself through what remains of a wall. He seems unaware he has even stopped. The woman slowly moves towards the boy, hands out, speaking in a low, calming tone. For a time, the boy doesn't even hear. He just closes his eyes and braces himself against the wall, expecting violence. Eventually, the woman's words work through the fear, and he hears her. He opens his tear-filled eyes and stares at her. She holds out her hand to him. He looks at it, seeming confused by the offer, then hesitantly reaches out. She takes his hand in hers and leans down to help him stand. I am very curious if these are all connected, or if these are just completely independent of one another. Feels like we've been seeing more bandits along the roads of late. Yeah, that's fine. I like killing things. And then I told her that's not the pistol. Ha! Oh, cool. That's quite the punchline. Does ale taste funny to you? I bet they have better gold rot than what? I bet they have better gold rot chew in this city. She's mad enough to lie with you? Why not wed you while she's at it? The city's where kith go for swift, not gold. Dry for... They're not even connected. I'm confused. The windows are clouded with a haze of accumulated smoke and cooking grease. Cool. Blackhound Inn. Alright. Yeah, I've been through everywhere now. Alright. Into the buildings now. Let's start with the Blackhound Inn. You can change the portraits of your main character on adventures through the current portrait character screen. Cool. Floorboards are sticky with spills that no one has bothered to clean. Okay. There's some kind of brown slop is congealing in these dishes. It smells burnt. Lovely. I'm just gonna quick save it quick.
Well met, friend.
Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you! Tenfrith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. I have moderate positive in Gilded Vale. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. So what would you like? Anybody looking for work? Oh, well, I wouldn't say I can speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone, I'd be happy to send them your way. Sure. Party gained, yep. Let's see what you've got to work with. A level 1 adventurer? No. Task completed, late for dinner. Oh, yeah,
Good day, stranger.
for the dude. I'd like to hire some help. I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here, too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. Tenfrith's the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables, actually, until the owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. Even left his poor hound behind. That's the name. See? That's the name. See? The Black Hound? It's still sitting upstairs pining after him. Poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow. She laughs. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by way of good meal today, unless you're fond of cold porridge. What do you have for sale? I'm sure you'll find something to your liking. Finest cook and Jew. Okay. Ooh, a savory pie. I like pie. A sweet pie. Cheese. Potions, camping supplies. I'll just sell these to you. Never mind. I'll not sell you these because they are not worth anything. What do these actually do? Remove gold rot chew crash. +3 might. +1 speed. -2 perception. Gold rot chew crash after 600 seconds. Huh. So it's tobacco. Okay. Room. Recruit adventurers. Store. Retrain character. Party management. Nope, no companions. Hey. That's cool. I can have like 6 people. Oh, okay. Alright. Easy enough. Let's go in here. Actually, I'm just gonna go through so I know what all I've...
How do you do?
I do easily. Wrong button.
Good day to you.
It lasts for 2 rests. Okay. Alright. Green. Cool. Villager. Anything to say? Good to see new faces. Used to have a lot more fortune tellers come through. Yeah, I believe that. What's on the table? Scroll of fan the flame. Oh, area of effect, burn damage. Nice. Development of the Crucible Knight Part 2. I don't have Part 1, but I will read it when I find it. Drunkard. And who are you then? Another fool gonna answer Roderick's invitation? Our great lord had my sister run out of town after the Bayou was born. The Bayou. The buoy. She was the only family I ever had. Not sure where she is now. I can find her. Blazes, I need another drink. I can look for her, sir. If you would like, I just carry the dishes you want to talk. Okay. Oh, more named NPCs. Voices from the past. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto the bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout the room haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack, one item after the other, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can into the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders to the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen, anyone heading out to the high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear into the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. This sounds like she lost her whole family then. Okay. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing at each part as he speaks about it and what it does. Then he walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking towards the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near the practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind him. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosening the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There's a sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him holding his bow and leading the deer with a nocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses his last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds and then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. Okay, cool. You shot a deer. Spoons hang by the fire, coated with brownish gunk. Lovely. Alright, I'll take more ale and beer. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's good to be back. Do not think that I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. I learned a recipe for savory pie. A savory pie will keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Thank you, good sir. Anything else? I will name a dish in your honor. Cool. I'll go upstairs. Cool. Before I leave here, I'm going to... You can hotkey any ability by hovering mouse button. Yep, cool. Carouser. That looks like people I want to fight. Grab a drink, friend. Not much else worth in this town, says the woman from Thine. Hey, we said we wouldn't mention Thine. Okay. Sure. That's a lot of named NPCs. In guest. Please leave me be. I am full to sickness with what I've seen of this place and its people. Cool. I'll see if I can steal your stuff. 10 years of dawn.
There, done.
Thank you, Todd. Ring of minor deflection. Okay. Hey, get out of there. Is there... No, it doesn't look like. Scroll of Tanglefoot. Hobbled for 4 seconds. Okay. Turquoise. To anybody who spends much time with me, they will learn that I am the epitome of chaotic neutral. I will do anything I can or have to, as long as it benefits me in the best way.
This won't stop me for long. There, done.
Thank you, Todd. Hat armor. The duelist hat. Okay, cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, chaotic neutral. Yep, so I will steal anything I want to. Hello, hound. The hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach and whines a low note. I have a black hound added to my inventory. So I literally just... Can I, like, use it? The small dog has a glassy black coat and an affable disposition. She trots along at your heels, gazing up devotedly whenever you come to her. Oh. Oh, I get it. Wait, can I give you a pet? No? This tiny Titanic pig has an otherworldly appearance that seems at odds with its endearing behavior. It follows you dutifully and requires nothing in return save companionship. Giant miniature space piglet. Okay. I think I'll put you in my stash in case I need you, but otherwise, I want this Doge. Yeah. That's cool. Do you have anything on your head? A hood. Nah, this hat fits you better. What does this do? Ring of minor deflection. Okay. I'll put this on me. Because why not? Do I have a dog now? I do have a dog. Awesome. Okay. Let's talk to these guys. You see a long, empty road cutting through two large crop fields. The air is silent, and the land seems too still for early morning, or for early afternoon. This woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse, curiously looking around. She seems to sense something wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops, sniffing the air, her nose high. Her brow crinkles and she casts about, looking for something. The air is clear, no clouds. She sniffs again, still looking around, confusion clouding her face, mouth watering a single word. Fire? She looks out across the field, her confusion turning to fear. She holds her hand up to block the sun from her eyes as she scans the field again. Not finding what she was looking for, she jumps onto her horse's back, the fear quickly becoming panic. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees to where the farmhouse should be. She pulls up short, horror now in residence on her face as she stares at the burned and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well in her eyes as she kicks again, racing to the rubble. That might be the woman who left and is the doctor. Alright. Stop that. Oh, that's a lot. You see an emaciated boy in chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in a dark coat walks in, a scroll and an oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him, expressionless, a corpse waiting for animation. The man clucks at him, disapproval clear in his tone. The boy stands, limbs hanging. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest, copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill digs into his skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard finishes with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbols to glow dully. The boy cries out, knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally, the glow disappears, leaving only hard black scars etched into his skin. He slumps sideways, twitching, eyes facing the back of his skull. The wizard grunts, kicking him on one leg on his way out. The boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes, and twitches, growing into convulsive shakes. So he probably killed him. Echoes from the past. You see a man soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet, with no end in sight, and he is in his element. In the corner, three smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger men in the center. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in three parts of the room, and with a terse nod they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burn brightly, and they all slump to the ground in an agony that's all in their minds. The burly man bows to a room of the unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, off-key whistling trailing behind him. Well, sounds like a badass to me. Alright. Let's go back inside. And I will go hit her
Hail,
room.
traveler.
Well, that's a rest if I ever done see one. Oh, your sleep is restless and fervid, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of the Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face is shriveled inward like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps back and her eyes open, and they are empty. And behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Yeah, sure, I'll go see a dead body, why not? Find the dwarf woman from the dream. Cool. Can I talk to you? Is there anything new? Nope. Well, I'm guessing she's not calling you Uatu, the Watcher, but I am curious what she means. Could try scouting. Oh, cool. You can level up. Cool. Road. Black Hound. I'll go here. I don't know why I didn't activate Fast Mode before. Alright. There's a cat. Can I speak to the cat?
Hi?
Hi?
I shall.
No? Okay. Barrel. Stealing. Oh. Table stealing. Oh. What if I talk to you? A dear wooden woman standing in front of a fireplace, humming a quiet tune of herself. Or perhaps her unborn child, for she's clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
How do you do?
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise when she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was expecting somebody else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? Uh, who were you expecting? My sister. Oh, Kalisha. Welp. My sister, Kalisha, is traveling with one of the caravans. She sent a letter before she came. Said she was going to pay her way by working as a guard for the caravan master. She was always a tough one. She pauses. I don't suppose you've seen her on the road, or the caravan, perhaps? It's Master of Damas. Ugh! Ah. I'll do the honest. Alfra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I knew. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kalisha was always so certain she would take on any danger. Oh, my poor sister. I'm so sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here, if I had written to her, she might still be alive somewhere. Alfred's face crumbles, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. No, not cruel. That's just asinine. Kalisha mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide some assistance? She looks at you with some surprise before tapping at her nose with a sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose this on you. It's not a small favor. I like quests. She wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kalisha as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Riderick, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavor. With my Hathort gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hoped kind wayfarers, gold pack knights. Oh, I see. Those are the things, the uh, classes. I hoped Kalisha could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child from being hollow-born, but she moved south to Anslug's compass 2 seasons ago. The journey is too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else right now with Kalisha gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? What's in this for me? I can only offer you coin, but Ranga has many potions and crafts for sale. Maybe you'll find something of interest, so it wouldn't be a wasted trip. She sniffs. I'm sorry, I don't have much. You're welcome to some of my food if you want. I have some fruits. I'll take fruits. You have gained the inventory item, fruit. I'll find her for you. She blinks, eyes wide. You will? God bless you. Here, I'll give you coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fastens out of, well, I'm not sure. But I shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. I gain 20 copper and slight positive. Cool. Ansley's compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you, again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. That's depressing. I don't like that.
Yeah?
Todd.
Sure.
Todd.
Hmm?
Let's see what stealing does. I've been caught stealing. I lost reputation with Gilded Veil. Oh, I see. Now that I know. Oh.
Good day, stranger.
No, stop it. Autosave, autosave, quick save.
Sure.
Alright, let's go, guys. Well. Okay. Let's see what else there is. There's this house. This is not stealing, so I'm going to take everything. This man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach, then pauses, her smile faltering a little.
How do you do?
Can we help you? She looks at her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man? Nanton. Nanton. Wait. Nanton. This man has a red cloak. He is the killer. Nanton shakes his head. I don't believe so. Was there something you wanted, stranger? Are you accusing me of something? Ingrid looks to Nanton, touching his arm. If this is about the accident, we're both grieving Pearlie's loss, but it was a wild animal's doing. Nanton shakes his head minutely. You see it tremble in his hands. What would make you suggest such a thing? I saw you cut him with, I had a vision in the cave. I saw Pearlie's last moments. As he lived them, I saw you cut him with a knife. I'll do diplomatic. Why would you do that? He was your friend. He hesitates and expression darkens. My friend? He was a cruel enough man to his friends. You didn't know him. You wouldn't defend him if you did. His hand falls to his sword belt. Nanton, wait. I don't know what you saw in that cave, but this isn't what you think. Pearlie, my husband, he was as much a beast as that bear. Okay. I tried to leave the first time I suffered his temper, but he wouldn't have it. She looks away, expression pained. Nanton, we met, and I knew I'd find somebody special, someone kind, who cared for me. Please, all we want is to leave this place, to start somewhere else. She looks down at the satchels. We have some coin saved up. You could have it, if you'll only let us go. I could kill him, but I don't really want to. I like coin. I don't. If this is true and they're both in on it, then he probably did deserve it. Sounds fair enough. Hand it over. Ingrid sags with relief. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. She fumbles through one of her bags and withdraws a heavy coin purse, which she hands to you, for your compassion. Let's go, Nanton. We have a long way ahead of us. Nothing? Silver, what? Most commonly, Valian coin found in the Deerwood. It's a silver louche fish, so named for the resemblance to the scales of a fish. Sure, whatever. Okay, I gained experience. Can I... Mother's plea. Go to the compass. While exploring cave, having heard in Grid's side of things, I decided to let it go. Okay. Late for dinner. Okay. What do I got? To wait and see what comes of it. I need to find the dwarf woman. Well, alright, I got coin out of that. I consider that a win. Alright, we're getting up towards, over an hour. So I will finish this up after I check out all these buildings. 2 of them left. Then I'll go back. Oh. Temple. I don't know. We'll see. I'll do these 2 buildings and then I'll check out the tree. Can I not go in this? We know there's more grain in there. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on your crops, or on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from the inside of the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through the door and gets a shot between your eyes. Gods, hear me. Swear, I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads. We'll be back, and we'll have fair prices, or by the flames, we'll have a reckoning. Okay. I'm curious. Can I go in there? Should I go in there? Man influences creatures and how many appear in combat. Okay. An elven man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face was pale and drawn, his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in its grip. Get back if you value your life. I don't like being threatened, but I'll see what he has to say. Gilded Veil, +1. Cool. The miller hesitates and lowers the club. Wait, I know you. You just came into town, right? Don't tell me Simeon already got his claws into you. Goth, that's all I need. I don't like being threatened still, but I'll do diplomatic. Really? Hayless tits. Could I use a friendly face? I take it you heard part of what the crowd was asking for? Grain, as if I've got it all tucked away somewhere. Seems have been egging that lot on for days now. They've been keeping clear so far, but if things keep on like they are, I don't know how much longer we've got before things get messy. Please, if you're not here on his behalf, maybe you could speak to Simlarga. He won't listen to me anymore. Just explain that we're all getting smaller rations now. We're all making sacrifices. I'll have some other questions. He shakes his head. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vales had all its shiny scraped off. Just a big dump heap now, and the Ceremonial thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. What was that ruckus outside? Where to begin? Ceremonial whipped them into a froth, going on about grain stores. Claims I've hidden away most of it. Oh, all I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air. I can't handle it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops that they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Sarah and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on our way into town. The crop is blighted. Most of what I'm getting from the farmers, gestures to the sacks and containers, it's gone off, rotted through. Oh, lovely. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Seems who's there, howling for things he has no right to. I'll go have a talk with him. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if he did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all, sacrifices. We'll be in debt for you if you can convince him. I like people being in debt to me. Oh, that's about stealing. Let me...
I'll see what I can find.
Cool. I got grain. Okay. That's okay. Moving toward a character accelerates how quickly they will detect you. Okay. That's fine. What do you have to say? Oof, Diane. I'm sure Father can explain. Hiru? Your father's a good man.
Greetings.
Have you had any luck? Not yet, I'll be back. Okay. Sure, whatever. Okay. Oh, the smithy. Smithy. This is a giant smithy. I'll go take this quick because it's not stealing. Then I'll quick
Nice
save.
and quiet.
Scout.
I shall be discreet. Time to see and not be seen.
Leather armor. Male coif. Flail. What's in here? Okay. Well, nothing too worth stealing. Guard. Looks to the smithy for supplies. Apprentice. Sorry, I have to keep with this. Yep, okay. Oh god, no more souls. You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking Zaurips. This man is with them, seemingly unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it as he stands in the middle of his comrades, chanting, his expression bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpoint to the chaos of their fighting. With every phrase, the battle changes. His allies grow, with a pulsing blue light freezing the Zaurips that surround them. A blazing pyre erupts from the ground, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the fallen Zaurips suddenly explodes as three giant grubs crawl from its corpse and attack the remaining enemies. The man continues to chant, thoroughly enthralled in the joy of combat. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to one. His allies stand back as the man approaches it, still chanting. He removes his hammer and swings it at the Zaurip. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with its head, punctuating the spell and bringing his song to an end. Okay. You see a man crouching, surreptitious and alone, a series of untamed shrubs, all that hides him from the visions ahead. His eyes are locked on a Delemgan? Okay, a beautiful and terrible, eyes half-lidded as she hums. A bird with fantastic blue and orange plumage sits on her shoulder, trilling gently, and the man is entranced. Trembling, tentative, he stands, and the tranquility is broken by the bird's startled squawk. The Delemgan half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. She does not speak as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, coy and tempting, and with agonizing slowness he is before her. Then something changes. She sees something hanging limply from his side and begins to hiss. Fingers suddenly claws and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as she strikes, and just as soon as she strikes, she is gone. The only evidence of her existence, the shuddering wreckage on the wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire nonetheless and begins to chant, but the words of a magical language of his own imagining, scribbled in a maniacal shorthand, ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at someone or something, but if there is something there, you do not see it. Okay. Lovely stuff. An account of Teller's sales. The pages are nearly empty. This Aumaua man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscles. Small ears frame a square-jawed face coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome. You're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years, good luck and bad. He glances at the guard standing watch along the wall, but the black hammer smithery remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer ye. All forged right here at the Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now, and I haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. One of my workers ran off with the wagon themselves, maybe, to make some coin. He snorts, as if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. The dire situations in villages like this and the exodus to the cities has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. He scratches his jaw, thinking, if you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect, only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Raedric. He glances at the nearby guard, and that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. I'll see them back safe and sound. I'd appreciate you trying, anyhow. You bring back the supplies at least, and I'll have much more to offer you. A discount to start. And if you do find my workers, you give them a good smack upside the head for me. Sure.
Well met, friend.
Well met, friend. Good to see you again. I'm afraid we're still running low on goods, but you're welcome to look to see what we have. Sure. Blue. Yeah. Okay. Alright. And then one last thing before I wrap this up. Go to the tree. I'll see what the tree has in store for me. Ow. Is that? No, stop that.
Yeah?
I'm me, not you. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away by patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her. Her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is tepid warmth to it. You feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hand, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out towards the hanging woman and perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electrical surge of images, words, and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down into some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives you a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy, even, to not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
I think I survived a bivouac. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder.
What do you mean, when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her other cheeks.
You should see old Meerwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
You said souls break apart over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but But I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
What happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now, such a question, as though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance, a humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord, she is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us, the best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins, miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
I had other questions.
Of course, dear.
I guess I didn't have any other questions. Very well.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Crucible of the Soul. Aleph looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. This happens a lot. You'll have to get used to it. I'm a watcher. I'll say that. His arched eyebrows were seated into his hood. Well, that is interesting. He gives you a sly grin. And I expected this has something to do with the hooded figures in the ruins, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Only that they're rare and that they seem to have unique insight into certain soul conditions, as you just demonstrated. Okay.
Sure. 17 and a half.
Thank you for that number.
Yeah?
Well, I'm curious, where did the Crucible of Souls come up? Is it an ability? Is it... One per rest. Area of effect, interruption, drains. Burn damage as endurance. Okay. The Watcher unravels the vital essence of his or her enemies, gaining endurance in the process. Sure. God's Pledge, second wind. Yep. Okay. Alright. Well then. Faintly good ally in Gilded Veil. Diplomatic 1. Oh hey, I should check to see if I can find out. Personal. Nope. Okay. Journal. Journal. Butts. Against the grain. Alright, anyway. My god, this episode has been a long one. That's fine though, because this is a seriously big RPG game, so I will definitely have to stop this here. Let me make sure that it's still going. Yes, it has been recording. Cool. Alright, so that'll wrap me up for this one. I did some discovering on what's going on. I am a watcher, so I am indeed Uatu. That's awesome. Anyway, so that is it. I will see you guys in the next one. It'll be out very, very soon. I'm just going to keep playing in the next episode. Alright, toodles.